Welcome to another Perfection in 1 Year run, and we are in the last week of summertime. So as usual, we will go through our summer goals, which haven't changed. They are still to finish the CC, which we've done, 3,000 starfruit, which we will not do. We've begun the kegging, we've set up our Ginger Island, and we are trying to finish max hearts with around 9 villagers, which at this point I don't know if it's going to happen, but it might. But this week, most important things we do are gifting Leo for his birthday, because he's our biggest obstacle for success. Harvesting our crop and replanting wheat to carry the deluxe speed grow over. Getting the key to the town, which I'll talk about more. The special order stuff, and to keep kegging our stuff and making more kegs. And so that's what we're doing. And first up is obviously our special order, which is the Juicy Bugs quest, which we'll actually complete today. It's super easy, and we need to do it because it gives a recipe. And we also have the dwarf's birthday today. We'll do a gift run, some delivery quests, just kind of random ones we have already. We're going to cut down some trees and buy starfruit seeds and make kegs. I know like the beginning of these videos is a lot of like housekeeping kind of stuff where we have to talk about everything we're going to do, and then we can kind of get into it a little bit better. But yeah, this is the last week of summer, so we really want to make sure, you know, we hit all the rest of the birthdays, we hit all the main summer stuff. We've already done the events, so we don't have to worry about the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies because nothing really happens there. Even though it's probably the coolest event, I think. Like, I like the music a lot. And yeah, so we just don't have to. And then, yeah, just gifts. Gifts are, like, again, like my least favorite part of this run, but we are getting closer to being done. We also just got the flute block recipe, which we needed for the mermaid golden walnut puzzle, but we won't do that today because I don't think it's raining on the island. Next time we're at the island, we'll probably use a rain totem, and that way we can get that like golden walnut section done. The other thing I'm going to do on this episode is I'm going to look at the actual percentage we are at for perfection. So we'll take a look at every one of the categories pretty much at the end of the video. So if you're only interested in that, I guess feel free to skip around. I don't really care. And we'll talk about what percentage we end up at. And from here on out, we're actually going to go over our percentage every single week. Because up till now, it was kind of just, it didn't really matter too much what our percentage was. We were just sort of working towards really general goals of like, we need money. And now we're slowly kind of whittling that down to like, obviously we still need money, but we also need specific friendship with people. We need specific quests, crafting, ingredients, house upgrades. The house upgrades, which I completely forgot about until last episode. So I'm really glad that I've not finished playing this run. I still have all of winter to do, and so I have plenty of time to upgrade my house. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just kind of like doing a pretty normal gifting route. Oh, one of my friends is on Steam right there. Whoops. A pretty normal gifting route, and as I go, I'm just eating a salad in front of Kent. As I go, I'm just turning in whatever random quests I have for whoever I run into. There's no like major strategy for it. It's just a little bit of bonus friendship as I go. And then I also have a lot of trees to cut down here. This will become a pretty regular thing where I am chopping down quite a bit of trees, replanting all the trees on almost every trip I take to the desert. And on this particular day, I just had extra money, so I figured I might as well buy some starfruit to get planted. And I also bought the coconuts, just because you need coconuts for a lot of recipes. And I might as well just get the free ones, essentially. But yeah, nothing really wild for today. We're just about done with planting a ton of forage, so we're going to start converting this greenhouse into basically trees and starfruit and ancient seeds as we get them. I think we got an extra 2 ancient seeds today just from killing all the bugs. And prior to that, I think we just had 2. You don't really need a lot of ancient seeds. Like, you need 5 for the hidden bundle, and then obviously 1 to ship, but otherwise I don't think they're very necessary. Like, they're great to have in the end game, obviously, but they're not good otherwise. They're kind of pointless, so yeah, chopping more trees. A really easygoing day today, I would say. There's definitely there's one day later this week that was probably the most difficult day I've played in a long time. Just because it relied so heavily on RNG paired with my own skill, which is like a really unfriendly mix. For somebody like me that's not particularly good at the game. But yeah, we ended up pulling it off, so we'll get there soon. I also had a mistake in recording, which you'll see in, I think tomorrow, actually, the 23rd. So when I dive into the Skull Caverns, alright, well, I guess I'll preface this by saying I record a lot of this stuff on a computer with almost no storage. So a lot of the time in the Skull Caverns, I'll record like the first 3 minutes, and then I'll stop the recording to save space, and I'll record like once I get down to like 8 p.m. Which is I guess a way to save space, but it's also a really good way to forget to hit record again. And that's essentially what happened. So I recorded the first 2 minutes of the Skull Caverns run, and then I just didn't record the rest. So I don't really know how this run went. I know it went pretty well because I had a magic rock candy, and I needed 4 prismatic shards, and I think I ended up with 13. But I don't have the run, which is really obnoxious. And I didn't find out until literally yesterday as I was editing this video. And I was out of town recently, and that's why I wasn't around for a couple days. But either way, I came back, and my strategy was basically the same as always with Skull Caverns. I was just gonna run down as quick as I can, and I brought those iron bars with me so I could craft explosive ammo as I dove. And that's just because I'm out of coal. I'm always out of coal. I should have bought coal instead of starfruit. That would have been a much better idea. But yeah, I just included the whole run because, well, it sounds weird, but there's a prismatic already, so that's pretty cool. I recorded a full run, or I left it in because it's only a couple minutes, and I just sped it up. So I guess you can see how I play early game, which I normally don't include too much of. So yeah, that was my only lost recording so far. I checked all of fall and I should be good, but it was a little bit frustrating to see that I lost a day. So here we are. I've been really slacking on recipes, and I know I've mentioned a couple times, but while I was sleeping the first full year, I got all the recipes, so I don't need the Wednesday ones, but I still keep checking anyway, and I keep missing Sunday ones, so it's a good thing that I'm doing that. So yeah, today we are getting some more coal, hitting Willie's birthday, turning in that 4 prismatic shard key quest, more gifts, and we're gonna grab a new key quest, buy the key to the city, or the town rather, with the key gems we get, and we're also gonna finish up the Gourmand quest on Ginger Island, where he has you plant the specific goods to get golden walnuts. And I guess we'll unlock, I don't know what we need to unlock. We don't really need to unlock anything on Ginger Island, so it kind of doesn't matter. but we might as well do it and get it done now. And yeah, more starfruit as usual. Pretty much all of our extra money will go towards coal and starfruit for a while. And yeah, eventually we'll start mining things like radioactive ore and have a little bit more of a steady stream of income. But oh nice, he destroyed my item. But we'll see, that won't be for a while. That won't be until we get a key quest to go into the dangerous mines, which is not this week. This is a much different key quest. And I don't know, I don't think it really matters. Oh man, I hate when they get stacked up like that. The key quests don't matter so much as long as I get one of the dangerous mines ones eventually. If I get one before the end of the year, I'll be happy. Because you don't need anything else except for one radioactive ore and one radioactive bar. And hopefully that'll happen. I think we'll be okay. I always really liked this character. I don't know why. He's like kind of creepy and weird. But he's like kind of harmless too, I guess. He just sort of does his thing and like hangs out in his little cave all day hoping to see some crops. I don't know what the deal is, like clearly he's able to get out there. Like why wouldn't he just plant? I guess he doesn't have the ability to go like visit a town to buy seeds, so never mind. I do like him. I wish I would have fished up his statues, but I was mostly thinking efficiently and not, you know, for aesthetics. I also got a bunch of the not ancient, but starfruit planted on Ginger Island this time. I missed a spot, like right there, which is really obnoxious. But I finally got rid of all the coffee I had growing, and a lot of the crops I didn't really need to have growing. And slowly but surely this will all turn into starfruit, but for now it's still kind of like a hodgepodge of random stuff. I think overall I'm pretty well caught up on all the cooking stuff I need. And since I have a greenhouse now, there's not really anything that's a problem, you know? Oh, and there we go. So I got, if you didn't see that, because I like to go through menus mega fast, I got the fishing quest. That's what I decided to take, which is where you fish up like Legend 2, Mrs. Angler, Glacier Fish Junior, or whatever. I don't remember what they're called, but the secondary legendary fish. And so that's what I'll do either tomorrow or the next day. And that's the run that, like, that's the day that took me a really long time, because there's a lot of RNG when catching Legend 2, and there's a lot of like pretty good chance that I won't be able to catch the fish on the first try. And so like, yeah, it was a really painful day to have to reset over and over again. And then of course I went in the volcano just to see if I would get anything decent. I didn't. It was just kind of another waste of time. I really need to stop going into the volcano. I don't think I need it anymore, but I still just force myself in every once in a while. I think I only need like 15 walnuts maybe, or 8 walnuts or something. I'm not sure in the exact numbers, but I just don't remember where they come from. I know one is from the banana thing. I just don't know what the rest are from. Oh, and I made more kegs too. That was part of today's plan. Eventually I'll fill the quarry. I'm doing it in the worst possible way. It's inefficient, and I should have just covered everything with stone right away. But for some reason I decided to like do it slowly over time, and it's driving me crazy when I watch back, but oh well. And then I sold a bunch of random stuff again, mostly for percentage and then a little bit for money. And is this the day? This is the day. Our resets went up by like 20. And so first thing, we made escargot because we need it for the recipe. And we also need it for fishing to make our fishing a little bit easier. We're going to smelt a little bit today. And our main thing though is catching all of the key fish. We'll also do the mermaid puzzle since we used a rain totem yesterday. And then we'll do a gift run along the way and make more kegs and more tappers. And I didn't mention, like I bought the key to the town, but I didn't mention why. And for those who know, it allows you to get into any building at any time. And that's really, really valuable for this portion of my gift run, because you don't have to wait for 9 o'clock to do anything anymore. And so it just saves a ton of time. Like I don't have to wait to do all these gifts I'm doing right now. And normally I wouldn't be able to get into any of these people's houses yet, so that's why I got it. And that's why it was the first thing I bought. The only other things I'll buy with key gems will probably be the recipes next. And eventually... oh, maybe nothing else. That might be it. Because nothing else is really important. I'll get galaxy souls here and there so I don't have to buy them. And also they're like crazy expensive and almost never worth buying, so we'll skip that. And so I did this day in kind of a weird way. Like the optimal route for me was to do a lot of my gifting early on and then hope for a quick legend catch and then do everything else. And I tried other routes, but this was the only one that seemed like it worked pretty well. What's a bummer about it is really, really dependent on catching a legend in like 2 or 3 casts. And like that is not, oh my voice, that's not super common. And so I wouldn't get lucky very often. This is obviously the run where I got really lucky. Otherwise I would have reset, but it was just it was a long day of fishing. And it's fishing for like hard fish that are rare and just not a very exciting day overall, but I don't know, I just have to play through it over and over again, because some runs you get everything, but I wouldn't be able to get the glacier fish at the end, because that one's also really hard. And yeah, so that's where we're at. We end up successful, I guess. A spoiler, but we do. And this is like, again, if you're just trying to get the fish, this is not the most optimal route, but it just worked out in my favor. I did take like around 30 minutes to actually get this to hook. Or not 30 minutes, but 30 like in-game minutes. I just kind of phased out the time right there. And it also took like a minute to actually catch, which again, I sped up to like 4 times because it's kind of boring to watch. And we ended up getting it, which is the most important thing. And that let us kind of continue on with the run. And to get like some of the easier fish, like Mrs. Angler, for example, which took a little bit longer to catch. Like what we started at 1 p.m. and we ended up actually fishing it up at 1:30. I guess that's pretty quick. And this one was just way easier. Like this fish is simple compared to the other ones. I didn't even fast forward it, and it took around the same amount of time. And then we headed down for the crimson fish, which is like, is that also Crimson Fish Junior? Or does it have a funnier name? I don't remember. I usually don't really bother too much with like remembering their names. There's no point. If I take this fish on a normal save, I'll just fish up the Legend 2 over and over again, just for the money. It's worth quite a bit of money. But yeah, again, this was like a really hard one to fish up for me. But we ended up catching it. And so we just need the glacier fish and the carp, or like the radioactive carp or whatever. And so, yeah, we took a quick break because I knew I would forget to do this, and brought some flute blocks here. I only had 4 out of 5. I didn't have enough to make a 5th one. So I had to kind of do like the janky strat where you like grab it and move it over. Which is a lot easier to do on like a mouse and keyboard than it is to do with a controller. So that's why I switched right there. And you can do this with just 1 block. It's just kind of a pain, and I really wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that's what I did. And then we got out of there, and we had to do a couple more little errands. A lot of our wine is done, so we'll chop down all the barrels and move them to the quarry so we can get some space back for more furnaces. And then we'll just keep smelting more stuff, get our kegs placed where they belong, and hopefully have enough time to catch these last 2 fish. This is kind of a weird way to do this, but I really needed the money, so I had to get more stuff smelting. And we also picked up some extra DSG. I don't think I have DSG down on most of the plants on Ginger Island, so we needed that to make sure we had that, or to make sure we can put it down, you know? That was a terrible sentence, but I'm not gonna take another crack at it. It'll be fine. And it's already surprisingly late, and yeah, this was probably like this is a pretty bad strategy to try and get this done. Like, we should have just gone for the other fish next. And I'm glad it worked out the way it did, but it's like kind of a lot of risk, considering like if we don't hook the glacier fish or can't catch it, it's over for us. Because I think this quest ends today. This is like one of those really short key quests where you get like 3 days. And I think we're at our 3 days. And this is always the fish that it's easiest to catch, but it gives me the most trouble. Like, I fail here. And the second attempt I end up getting it, but yeah, I fail on glacier fish probably more than anything else. It's just like so erratic. I don't even know if I have actual glacier fish yet. I think I'm still missing that particular legendary fish. And I guess that's because I haven't done the actual winter part of the run yet, so that will be painful when I get to it. Oh, and we got more kegs. I guess we had some more wine finish up. So, finished the key quest. Full day was pretty successful. We are really short on like wine and kegs and everything, as we always are, but I'm not really letting it bother me too much. There are other things we can do to make money, and I'm just hoping that it all pans out. And we're into Friday, the 26th. Starting off with a lot more wood. We just need it all the time. I'm not using fertilizer like I should, but we get plenty. Our problem is oak resin, so that's okay. But it is Leo's birthday, so that's our main thing we have to hit today. Just because his friendship is so far behind everybody else's. And we need to make more kegs. We're going to plant more trees, as always, and buy a ton of the crab cakes. And I probably didn't include the cutscene with Willy, but we had his 6-heart cutscene with Willy, so that means we got the cutscene where he's like dealing with crabs inside his shack. And a couple days after that, you can buy unlimited crab cakes from Gus. And so we'll buy like 50 or 60 crab cakes today. They're just really good to have for chores around the farm. And this is a file that I'll keep playing on after I finish it. So I want to have like plenty of crab cakes. And if it's like, especially if I don't want to go to Skull Caverns a lot, which I don't. And I think that was the rest of our tappers. So we're all tapped out. And we have a couple more acorns going with fertilizer on a good chunk of them. And our forest is in a little bit better shape. We should be able to ramp up our keg production a fair amount. And I also took a glance at our friendship. It's in slow motion, which it's hard to tell because I go through the menu so fast. But overall, I think we're doing pretty good. A lot of these people that are on the bottom half of the friendship have birthdays in fall and wintertime. So I'm not really worried about them. But the ones at the top have already had their birthdays passed, so that's why they're so far ahead. And yeah, so I don't know, it was a quick glance. If you want to rewatch that, I don't know, I think it's around like the 23:30 mark or something. But I'll go into friendship in more detail as we go. That was just kind of a little overview of where we're at. And then this is like, I'm so annoyed with myself for this particular part. Like, I just bought the coffee, and I have money, and I still gave Harvey a salad for some reason. I don't know why I did that. And then this, also annoying. I have a melon for the quest, and I run up to Demetrius, and I just eat it. And, oh man, it wasn't my last melon, and I have extras still, so I didn't restart, but otherwise I would have potentially restarted for that. And that would have been really, really annoying. But that's something I do all the time. I'll like give somebody a gift and keep tapping A to like have the conversation with them, you know, for friendship points, and not realize they didn't accept the gift. And then I end up eating whatever my gift was. It just drives me nuts. Oh, we also made some crystallariums. We're going to start making a lot more crystallariums just for the event that we do go into the Skull Caverns. We will have a little more jade production so we can stare down a little bit faster. We won't be going into the Skull Caverns too often, even though it is good money. There's often like better options. Like if I have a perfect luck day and I have the dangerous mines unlocked, I will spend the entire day farming radioactive ore instead. It tends to be a lot more valuable and a lot more consistent than a Skull Caverns run. So I'll probably just do Skull Caverns if I need the other materials, right? Like iron and copper. And so yes, the 27th, I didn't do like a to-do list today because we're just going to the Skull Caverns. I did want to say real quick that almost all of my starfruit is ready except for one patch on the far west side of my farm. But we still have another day in the season, so I will just go and get that tomorrow. And we'll make tomorrow our full harvest and replant day. But today is just your run-of-the-mill Skull Caverns dive. Nothing special. We have plenty of ammo. We don't have to craft as we go. We can just kind of mine our way down like usual. I do think that this particular run was a little better than my usual ones. We ended up with a pretty fair amount of iridium ore and also like a ton of iron and copper, which is really, really nice. And like, I guess like when I dive in the caverns now, like I was just saying, it's mostly going to be when I need iron and copper. I'll probably spend a lot more of my time trying to actually like mine those nodes. Just because the iridium is nice, but I'll be needing so much of that stuff for kegs that it's almost more worth it now to like seek out those particular minerals, I guess. But who knows? I say things and then I just do the opposite, so you can kind of take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's not, it's never set in stone what I'm gonna do. I'm commenting on something I did like a month ago, so it's kind of hard to remember my exact train of thought a lot of the time. I do have like, I think I've mentioned it before, I have pretty extensive notes when it comes to every day. Like, it's not, you know, not pages per day, but it's like the full route written out, you know? I just got like the hiccups for a little bit. That was annoying. I think I got them all. But yeah, I have like a full route for each day for the most part. Like Skull Caverns days, I don't have as many notes. It's usually just like goal numbers, like how many iron ore I would like to get that day, things like that. But every other day is like gift Shane, gift this person at this time, and make this happen. And it's probably like a little bit over the top in reality. Like I probably don't need to micromanage that kind of thing as much, but you know, what are you gonna do? And the rest of the day I spent just like crafting some kind of random items. I also used a rain totem again to keep this thunderstorm rolling for one more day. I'm essentially trying to acquire as many batteries as I can, right? So every time it was thunderstorming throughout all of summer, I would try to use a rain totem if I had one available. And I'll do the same thing like in fall. Like I don't know if thunderstorms are as common in fall, but I know they can happen. But if there is one, I will use a rain totem. It's just valuable. It's free batteries, why not? But this is our final day of summertime. And we don't have like anything too crazy going on today. We have to do our harvest and our replant, which I'll talk about in a second. We are going to get our bouquet today to give to Haley. We're going to buy all the fruit trees to get them set up in our greenhouse so they're done by wintertime. Some more coal, as always. A full gift run. And then we're going to find out our percentage, like I was talking about earlier. And I know I mentioned it before about the wheat seed thing, but just a refresher, when I replant, or why I'm replanting. And the main thing I'm doing is I'm trying to preserve my deluxe speed grow. So I'm going to buy like 1,000 wheat from Pierre alongside all of my other like summer safety seeds I like to buy. And I'll plant that everywhere the starfruit was so that in fall I can harvest the wheat in like 2 days and all of the deluxe speed grow will still be there. Everything will still be watered. The actual value of the wheat is negligible, but it's better than having to rebuy a bunch of deluxe speed grow for 80 gold a piece, so that's the deal with that. All of the fruit trees, I don't think I need all of them, but it's better safe than sorry. I don't remember which fruits you need specifically for cooking and for shipping, so I just bought one of everything, and I will plant those alongside everything in the greenhouse, basically. It's the easiest place to plant them. And I also made 9 more furnaces because I know I will need all of them. I'm pretty much always smelting as usual, so the more furnaces the better. And I don't know if I'll expand much past this. This is probably fine. And then yeah, plant our wheat, and we're done with wheat. Or we're done with planting for the season. Aside from, I guess, the greenhouse, which we have all of our winter forage, I think is ready. Yeah, all of our winter forage is ready. Tomatoes are ready, strawberries are ready. Like for cooking stuff. And then we'll replant starfruit in here. And I guess we'll eventually replant ancient fruit. I don't know if we will on this run. Right now we need the money now. So ancient fruit is not particularly valuable. But, yeah. And then we're headed back to the island because we have to gift Leo and talk to Leo. I think we're we're yellow with him. I know it goes like, I can't remember the colors, but yellow is good. I think it's red and then purple next, so we're quite a bit further along with him. I kind of wish Leo, I guess I wish he wasn't added to the game. I don't like his character. I don't think he's very interesting. So I just don't care for him. And he makes the game a lot harder when you're trying to do it all in one quick burst. And then yes, we will marry Haley. Next time it rains, we should be at 10 hearts, so we'll be able to buy the mermaid pendant. We'll have our house upgraded a little bit more, and she'll move in so we can get the star drop. Otherwise we wouldn't. If you didn't have to get married in this game, we wouldn't. There's no point to it other than the star drop. Like occasionally they'll water some of your crops and stuff, but I can water my own crops because I have a sprinkler system, so not the most useful thing. And then we'll look at our friendship one more time here, a little bit slower than last time, in case you didn't catch the first part of it. So we have 3 maxed out, 2 more that are like super close to it. And then I think we have a couple other bachelorettes that are maxed out. Yeah, so we got Maru and Shane. So we're sitting at 5 out of the 9 that we wanted to have done, which I'm actually pretty happy about. 9, in my opinion, was kind of a lofty goal. And I don't even know if it was actually possible, necessarily. But I think we're doing okay on friendship, which is, in my opinion, like, I mean, you obviously hear me say it's the worst part of the run, but it's also like one of the hardest parts of the run. We are also emptying our cave because all that stuff will disappear in the change of a season. And then just continuing on with our gift run. So the last portion of the video, I will say, will not be extremely exciting to watch. It's just going to be a static image of where we're at with perfection. And I don't know if anybody watches on mobile. I think it might be kind of hard to read it, but I'll pretty much just read out everything it says anyway. But I couldn't fit it all into one page very neatly, so I probably should have just done 2 pages. But here we are. It's kind of a little too late for that. And we'll just talk about like where we at on perfection for all the different metrics that they rate you on. And it's numbers that they're pulled directly from the Stardew Valley checkup or whatever it's called. It's like the Mousy Pounds predictor, but the Mousy Pounds Stardew checkup. I just put my save in there and pulled the data directly from it. And then I could just look at it and see like how we're doing, basically. And so that's what this will be after I plant these starfruit. I just go to bed and we'll look at our percentages, which they're going to seem lower than they actually are. So the shipped is accurate. Obelisks and Golden Clock will be a while before that. The 0% for both those. The Monster Slayer hero goal, we've technically completed some of that, but it will always show 0% until you finish all of them. So once we hit that, we'll get a 10% boost to our completion. And then we're only at 1.62% of our great friends, which is not great, but that'll go up actually a lot quicker too. Our farmer level is almost at 5%, which is the max it can be. All star drops 0%. Cooking might as well be 0%. Crafting at 3%. Fish at 6% is actually really good. These are all out of 10%, so they're actually pretty high. And then golden walnuts, so that puts us at a total of around 27.7, I think it said. And that's not bad. I mean, I'm happy with that at this point. Those numbers will skyrocket quickly, I think. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And I will see you all next time.